Hello, everyone. This is Independent Conservative. Thank you all for joining me. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about this Ukrainian situation, this Ukrainian war with Russia and Putin's inevitable response to Trump's incoming administration and how that he wants to now have negotiations. Putin, president of leader of Russia, wants to have a talk now. And this always raises the question from a lot of people. I hear a lot of people talking about this on other YouTube channels about why America is giving so much money to Ukraine and so forth. We already heard about the fact that I think sanctions were loosened by the Joe Biden administration for Ukraine to use missiles now. And so that's causing a problem. There's a lot of controversy about that. I mean, some are accusing Biden of trying to put Trump in a bind. Once he gets in office, now he has to deal with this situation of possible World War III. And, a lot of stuff been going on. But this article I'm about to read to you guys, I think gives a somewhat of an understanding of why America is, in my opinion, of why America is giving all this money, hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine to finance them in this war. I mean, because I've been hearing this a lot. I mean, why are we giving them all of this money? What ties do Ukraine have with America that we would give them hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars, messing us up over here financially? What's going on here? And I think this article brings out something that I kind of suspected from the beginning. So let's get right into this. I think this should be hopefully a little bit informative for some people here. It says, top Russian presidential spokesman Dmitry Peskov told reporters on Wednesday that strongman Vladimir Putin is, quote, ready for talks to end the Ukraine war with American President-elect Donald Trump. Peskov was responding to questions about a report published by Reuters on Wednesday, citing anonymous officials claiming that Putin may be open to ending the ongoing invasion of Ukraine if Russia can, watch this now, listen to this, if Russia can keep control of much of the territory he has seized. From the anonymous sources claimed that Putin, quote, could broadly agree to freeze the conflicts along the front lines. Now, that still is not given much information. You keep control of much of the territory, of course, because you dominated much of the territory. So that really doesn't, give us much information in terms of the connection of America to Ukraine. So let's get into this. Go further with this. Russia first invaded Ukraine, according to this article. Russia first invaded Ukraine in 2014. I didn't know. Annexing its Crimean Peninsula. After a period of peace during the 4 years that Trump was in the White House, Putin again invaded Ukraine in February 2022 after outgoing President Joe Biden lifted sanctions on the lucrative. Now, here's the part that stood out to me. After outgoing President Joe Biden lifted sanctions on the lucrative Nord Stream 2 pipeline that would have dramatically increased Russian fossil fuel sales to Western Europe. In September of that year, Putin, quote, annexed 4 more regions of Ukraine. And in the names, I can't pronounce the names, but there's 4 more regions of Ukraine. Now, I find that interesting because it points to this idea of money, which is what I suspected from the beginning. So I wanted to read something else here that ties into this particular article here. And in reference to the so-called lifting of the sanctions here, it says in this particular article that ties in with the one I just read, it says here, Ukrainian president appeared to accuse President Joe Biden of deceiving in this. And by the way, this article that I'm reading to you here that ties in with the present day article is way from June 7th, 2021. So you're like, wow, that's a long time ago. Well, let's see what's going on. Ukrainian president, I can't pronounce his name, but his last name I think is Zelensky, appeared to accuse President Joe Biden of deceiving him into thinking the White House would oppose Russia's lucrative and highly strategic Nord Stream 2 pipeline to Europe. telling Axios in an interview published Sunday he was, quote, unpleasantly surprised when Biden did nothing to stop it. The article goes on to say, Zelensky described Nord Stream 2, a proposed natural gas pipeline that will make the European Union more dependent on Russian fuel while boosting leader Vladimir Putin's economy, as a, quote, weapon in the hands of the Russian Federation, end quote, and argued that it was, quote, not very understandable, end quote, for the United States not to express concern or attempt to block its allies from allowing Russia greater influence in the West. What does all this mean? You may be thinking, what? No, what? Okay, yeah, Ms. Bowling, what does all this mean? I mean, you telling me all of this and this, that, and the other. Well, I think it means what I suspected. And that is, it's all about the money. That perhaps America's involvement with Ukraine and the giving of all of its money, hundreds of billions of dollars, is because they're going to get, these politicians that support this are going to get kickback from Russia being allowed to use this gas line to sell gas all of, in certain portions of Western Europe. I mean, it's all, either way it go, however way you want to follow that, it's all about the money. You follow the money and you'll find out why a lot of politicians do the things they do. And that's all I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about, because the question keeps coming up, why are we involved in it? Why we keep giving all this money? What's going on? It's hurting us here in America. Woo, 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 woo. And maybe perhaps, according to what this article said here, and the two articles interlining, the one from June 7th, 2021 with the present one, adds to the mystique, if you will, of why perhaps America is so involved with this Ukrainian situation here. Why they're giving all this money. And now it doesn't answer the question, okay? But to me, this adds some credence to this idea of America giving all this money to Ukraine and support Ukraine and so forth, because maybe perhaps they're getting kickback, okay, money, if you will, from this. And hey, they want their money. And I'm pretty sure these politicians are getting hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars. It has to be, money is involved. That's the bottom line. Money is involved. And one might add, hey, a lot of, maybe American imperialism could be involved in it, maybe. But a lot of this stuff has to do with Russia taking over certain territories and so forth. Or it isn't just because they want, Vladimir Putin wants control and I love control and I'm just a narcissistic control freak. Part of it is about being able to take control of the resources and them areas and be able to sell their gas to different regions so that they can beat America out. See, it's a money thing, okay? It's a money thing, and that's one of the reasons why, at least in part, and that's one of the reasons why Trump is, I believe, so adamant about us using our own energy instead of buying, I think we buy gas from Russia, but Trump is adamant about us using our own gas resources because he believes that our depending on buying the resources, gas and oil from other people instead of using our own, basically we'd have to fly the way they want us to fly. You understand? If I got to depend on buying gas and buying oil and buying all this kind of stuff from other countries that don't necessarily like me, that don't necessarily like our constitutional freedom and so forth, and don't like the things that we're doing, all the freedoms, the freedom of speech and freedom of religion and all that. A lot of these countries don't have that. But if we become dependent on their energy sources, it could hurt us in the long run because now, hey, if they want certain things, if they want to do certain things, if they want to infiltrate certain areas of our institutions and take control of it, hey, American government is going to be more willing to do so because, hey, we're dependent on Russia. We're dependent on this country for oil and for gas and other natural resources. Whereas if we only depend on our own resources, hey, we won't have to worry about all of this. And this is what Trump is all about. And I understand that. And I agree to a large extent of what he's trying to do. Okay. Because for one, it works out for us here in America in terms of opening up doors for businesses and so forth here in America. It brings a lot of the businesses back here in America rather than sending them abroad. So, yeah, I mean, but I just wanted to mention that I suspected it from the beginning. There had to be some kind of financial kickback or something going on financially that the American government would consistently be giving hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine. What tie-in do we have with them? And I think this gas situation is what it's all about. This gas pipeline situation is what it's all about. And that perhaps American officials and American politicians are getting kickback for this. I'm pretty sure they're not doing it for free. I know they're not. The bottom line is this. The American politicians have sold us out. They're money hungry. What drives these politicians on both the left and the right, Republicans and Democrats, is money. Money, 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 money. Trump seems to be at this point the only person that really actually cares about America, which hence the term America first. Let's take care of home first. It's not that Trump is against, globalism as a whole. Okay, he's not against globalism completely. He agrees with sharing assets and having relationships with other countries because he agrees with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You're going to have allies. You're going to need them. But when you're so stuck up on assisting other allies and other countries and so forth, and you're not taking care of your own people, what do you think that your people are going to think? That's like me being in a house somewhere. Come on, man. I use this analogy so many times, but it makes sense. That's like me having kids in my house, and my wife and my kids in my house, and they hungry, and they need food, and I'm sitting up here pooting and snotting about the kids out there, and I'm giving their food that I bought for them, for my family, and giving it to these kids out in the street. Now, that may be compassionate, nice, and loving, but at the expense of who? My own family? You know what the Bible says? The Bible says that if a person doesn't take care of their own household, they're worse than an infidel. That's what the Bible says. Those people that don't take care of their own household are worse than an infidel. In other words, you're worse than a pagan because you don't take care of your own house. And you don't take care of the people in your own house. And that's where America is right now in terms of the government. They're worse than an infidel. They're worse than pagans, which some of them probably are pagans. Because they're so busy trying to feed the booties of everybody else that they're not taking care of their own people here. But they don't care. They don't care. And these people need to be ousted out. And I'm glad that Trump is doing what he's doing in terms of creating his cabinet and his people in his cabinet. Hey, do what you need to do, bro. Get these long-term nutbags out of here. Let me calm down. I'm getting triggered. Yeah. So I wanted to add that to that. Maybe perhaps you guys may have some more information about America's involvement with Ukraine and all of the money that they're giving and so forth. But I just wanted to mention that because I suspected that it had to do with money. And that article and those two articles intertwined together kind of fleshed that out and kind of fed my suspicion, okay, that it has to do with money, pipelines and gas lines and gas pipelines and oil fields and all of this. It's all about controlling. It's all about controlling regions and all about controlling money. He who controls the regions in terms of resources, you can control the world. You can control the world. But yeah, that's what I wanted to mention. Now, what do you guys think about all this? Leave your comments in the comment section. Don't like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all. I'll see you again.